This is going to be a difficult one for me. The story of this show hit really, really close to home a lot, and I'm a little depressed. So the show is Toradora, and I'm almost positive it was based off an adult visual novel, or a visual novel of some kind. Almost positive. I've read that somewhere. Whether or not that's legit is neither here nor there. I don't know for sure. And it's basically, it follows the story about these two people, this guy and this girl in high school, who become really good friends and are trying to help each other because they both like the other person's, like, good friend. And they're trying to help each other because they're both kind of a little socially awkward. The guy is scary looking. He looks scary, which is an interesting trait because the art style coming into a plot point, which is pretty neat to see. He inherited his dad's face. His dad was apparently not that good of a guy and a pretty scary looking person. So everyone thinks he looks really mean, but he's actually not. And then you got this girl who's really, really short, but gets pretty angry really easily and is very, very strong. And they become best friends trying to help each other work up the courage to get to know and ask out these other people. It's a 25 episode long show, and it is quite possibly one of the most emotional shows I've ever watched in my entire life. Again, though, that could just be because while watching this, it brought memories back to an event or two or many events that have happened in my life that made me very sad. So I could just be me. The animation for this show, there was about one or two moments in all 25 episodes, one or two very short, brief moments where the animation wasn't as up to par as the rest of the show. That being said, the up to par with the other the whole other rest of the show is so great. There is so much fluid movement with everything that happens. And this is a really, really great looking show. And I think it had to have been because art style does play a point in the main character, pretty much. The fact that he's supposed to be scary looking and whatnot, but still be a nice guy. So you have to be able to draw and animate a scary looking person in a light that won't make him seem like a scary person. So that's kudos to the animators for that, because they did a brilliant job. Every character in this felt so real, both in the ways they moved, the way they were written, the dialogue they exchanged with each other. It all felt real. And I looked up, because this is how into the show I got. This last night, I was watching episode 10. Episode 10, last night. And I finished, it's now 12:43 in the morning/night, and I have finished the series, so it really drew me in, and the things they do with these characters. I originally, the way I was feeling about episode 10-ish, the way I was feeling, because I wanted certain characters to end up with certain characters. And up until, episode 19, I still wanted that to happen. They kept it a consistency with who you think, pretty much, the characters should end up with. And the whole last, 5 episodes are just the biggest emotional roller coaster I've ever seen in an anime. And I mean that in the best possible way. I know that could be taken as a very bad thing. That could mean that they didn't know what direction to go with, so they just went with every direction. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it just, it grips you. It grips you really, really good. And I am really, really confused about how I feel about this show, because honestly, I really enjoyed it, but also, now having finished it, I am feeling pretty depressed. And then again, that could just be because of the way it made me feel. And honestly, I recommend it to people. Don't I don't want to say don't watch it if you don't want to get sad at some point or whatnot, because there are many moments in this show where you will feel sad if you feel emotions for anime or whatnot. You will feel genuinely sad for some of these characters a lot. Like, there are certain characters that when you see them cry, it's animated, it's just all around done so emotionally. You can tell that they were throwing all their emotions into every aspect of this show. And as far as I know, it doesn't have a DVD or Blu-ray release. I think it came out 2012, October. I can actually pull up the thing right here. Just a second. Toradora. Show information. Let's see. October 18th, 2012 is what it's saying on Crunchyroll. And I want this show to get a DVD and Blu-ray release. And if it does, I'm going to be keeping up to date with this. There are certain things, certain shows and anime and whatnot that I will keep, like, every day I will check to see if any news updates or anything have come on. I've been looking just about every day, checking Google and whatnot, if not every day, every week, like, to see if, like, Mysterious Girlfriend X has had a second season announced or whatnot. So far it hasn't. If Kotora-san has had a second season announced, or if it has a DVD or whatnot. I look up stuff like this. I'm going to be keeping very detailed watch about whether or not Toradora is going to be released over here. And if I see that it does, I am going to probably buy it the day I can, the first possible day you can purchase it, because it is that great of a story. It's a romance, it's a high school story, oh god, it covers so much ground. And honestly, I really recommend it. As usual, the link's going to be down in the description. Put a little annotation up here saying, blank, hey, you can watch it for free. It's great. It's really, really good. Really, really emotional, and it has a lot of humor in it, too. I feel bad now because I'm all depressed in this. I'm not cheery in the slightest right now. I am genuinely sad. But the show does have so many high moments too. It's just that I tend to focus primarily on the depressing points because I don't know why. It has a lot of high moments. There's so much humor in it, both verbal, physical, all types of humor and everything. The physical humor is like fast and very funny. And this is one of those shows where you get to see the characters grow. They grow a lot. And I'm just going to say this because I have read some reviews and whatnot where people have been angry with the ending. Honestly, I don't think those people watched through the credits. Last episode, you have to watch all the way through the credits. There's an epilogue. And that epilogue, because I agree, if it did end at that credits part, I probably would have tried to find these people and punch them in the face, because that would be the most horrible thing they could have possibly done. They would have ended it so bad that I would have said, Crunchyroll, you need to take this down so nobody has to go through this. But the epilogue, it changes all of that, and it ends at the highest note. Throughout, I said, the roller coaster, there's a lot of the high notes, and it makes sure that it ends perfectly right back at a high note. which is probably the best thing they could have done, because if they would have ended it sad, I likely wouldn't have done a video on it right now. I'd be too angry and too depressed to do a video on it. So that's Toradora. I'm sorry I'm depressed and mumbly and not chipper and moving around and everything. It's just, it was so good, it made me really sad.